Welcome back to Autism Live. We are joined right now by the wonderful and fabulous Bonnie Yates. She's a
Good
special
morning.
education attorney. She's coming to us from the law firm of Hirji and Chow. Good morning, Bonnie. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Tell us a little bit
Um,
about Hirji and Chow.
Here, G and Chow. God, we are a very busy law firm with school starting up again. It just seems like we've got a bunch of different things going on. But what we do is special education. We represent parents. We assist them with regional center matters. We assist them with higher education matters. We assist, college students with getting their accommodations and things that they need for college. We do disability discrimination. I think that's pretty much, we're kind of a, full stop kind of special education law firm with, different interests and 6 attorneys that have different expertises. So it's fun because there's always a lot of stuff going on, expulsions, just due process hearings. So that's what we do. On Autism Live, I'm answering general questions and I'm answering them based on my knowledge of California and federal law, but I'm really not giving legal advice. I'm giving you information about your rights. And if you have a specific legal problem, you really need to find an attorney and in your own state who can advise you. So I usually direct people to COPA, www.copa.net. You can get a list of special education attorneys in your own state. And we do offer, for anyone in Southern California, if you have a question and you think we can answer it, we will schedule a complimentary consultation with you where we can have a specific discussion about your problem. But you'll see today, we're definitely answering specific questions, but we're answering them in a general way. And specific questions ultimately need to be answered specifically.
Absolutely. So thank you for all of that, and thank you to Hirji and Chow for lending us your time for this hour. I'm going to jump right in with some of the questions that we have, Bonnie, because we have quite a few. Somebody wrote in and said, where can I go to find what my rights are? Is there a place that lists our rights as parents? Is there a book or training you recommend? I feel like the school district is capitalizing on our collective ignorance. What a great question.
Well, you got that right. That's exactly right. You're in a situation that they've, the playing field is one they've played on 1,000 times before. And, for you, you're just getting up to speed. There's an excellent book called Rights Law, WRIGHTSLAW, which I think is a really good book for parents. And then and you can find them on the web as well. And there's a lot of stuff, just even if you look up Rights Law online. For free stuff, the California Department of Education has an online book that basically compiles the relevant education code and California Code of Regulations, or California Administrative Code regulations that are relevant to special education in California. So you can get that online and print it out. There's California Dyslexia Guidelines, which is a State Department of Ed publication that you can print out that's very important if you have a child with specific learning disability. And then Disability Rights of California, DRC. They have a lot of really good stuff online. There's something called Student Educational Rights and Responsibilities, SERR, and they go through the questions. They have like a multi-chapter book on questions that you have about special ed, and they will instruct you on the law in a particular area. So let's say you want to know about your right to obtain records. They will have a question and a 2-page discussion about your rights as far as records. So I think where the problems come in is when the district doesn't play by the rules, which is most of the time, unfortunately. So when the district doesn't play by the rules, it's not always easy to get from a book exactly what you need to do. But sometimes what you need to do is you need to go back to them and quote the source. So if you ask for your records and they say they'll be ready in 30 days, you say, no, they won't. They'll be ready in 5 business days, because that's what California Education Code, section whatever it is, 56.3 something, says. And you have to put that in writing, because if you don't write it down, it's as if it never happened. And you can start creating a paper trail. So the problem is that when you go to an IEP meeting, you need a simultaneous translation so that you have what the district is saying and then somebody translating and saying, this actually means X. And that's the hard part. And you only, learn that through further education. Now, I looked at this little thing that Fagan Friedman and Fulfrost put out, which was a slideshow about special education. And they had a whole section on like red flags when parents are, becoming a problem. And they had things like requesting records, wanting to bring an attorney. They basically anything that asking to record the meeting. These are all rights that people have. So it was interesting that the district looked at these rights as problems for them that would better advantage the parents in terms of representing themselves. I had a client that was bringing her educational psychologist to the meeting because she needed interpretation of what was being said. And then the special education, the program specialist took her aside and said, you're asking to record the meetings, you're bringing this, person in with you, and basically said, why are you lawyering up on us, and started putting pressure on her. So I don't see that, but I assume it goes on all the time, telling people don't record the meeting, it's going to make this adversarial, Yeah. It's so important to record the meetings. It's so important, and you don't get a do-over. So if somebody says something brilliant in the meeting that's going to let you win the case, God, you sure kicked yourself if you aren't recording. So that's kind of my answer generally to those questions. A lot of the time, like this morning, for wanting to talk to you about unilateral private placements, private school placements, I wanted to look at the private placement statute. So I just put in like unilateral private placement, and I put in the federal statute because I know the number, but I didn't even bother to go to Westlaw, and up it pops. So whatever else isn't great about being a special ed parent in this day and age, and believe me, there's a lot, as you all know, we have a lot more information on the internet. You just have to be a little careful because some of it is soliciting business and some of it is inaccurate, but a lot of it is useful and it's free, and so go for it.
Okay. Hey, thanks for watching Autism Live. To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.